Welcome everyone, this is Acid Rootz and I'm going to talk about YG's album, Still Brazy. With me for this review is JackalGold, who you're also going to be seeing, and we're going to collaborate for this album. So this is a recent album, and some of the things that this has to do with is this is a West Coast album for one thing. So if you think of that, we're thinking of like Doggy Style and R&G in some cases, and something that Dr. Dre would have done recently, The Game, Kendrick Lamar. These are folks that are kind of similar. So this is 2016 California, but there still feels like something that is hindering the project. And I think really my biggest thing is how far the appeal is going to stretch. Like, is this just going to be an album in rap terms, or is this kind of becoming more of an event in music? Because it shows California, but it does not, I feel like as far as venturing out of that window, that's kind of the thing. We just have to, it's strange trying to sum this up, but really it just feels like his beliefs are not the same as what I think some of America's are going to be. And that's pretty much the only thing. It's interesting seeing what he thinks on the way culture has been recently, but I don't know how much widespread appeal it's going to have. That's pretty much that's the only problem I can really see with this project. I will say that it's extremely good. It's well produced. It sounds like California. One song I'm going to note real well is Twist My Fingers. And then another one is I Got a Question. And then we also have Bool Bomb and Selective. You know, these are a few that, you know, you need to hear. Twist My Fingers, I feel like, kind of did what the Compton album by Dr. Dre did not, which actually feels more like a single. And it's, I'd say, probably about the same with Documentary too. You know, some of these kind of struggled with getting, you know, that real type thing. It just has a more official feel to it. One thing that came up with this is he did get shot. So he got shot, I think, multiple times in 2015. And this was, you know, this was a shocker. The main thing to consider is that, you know, this is rap that you need to hear, but, you know, just pay attention. I think the biggest thing that's going to happen when you listen to this project is just your mood, because it does cover subjects that you may not, like, once again, I feel like the beliefs part of it, it's as if, you know, whether or not you agree and back what YG is saying. So if you're not in the same mood that he is in, the music kind of falters, which is the only thing. But other than that, I mean, it's still pretty, you know, upbeat, or it's good rap, and that's something to know. So Bool Bomb and Selective, Still Brazy, Why You Always, I have it on Spotify, Why You Always Hating, I Got a Question, Twist My Fingers, you know, these are some good ones. But I will list now the entire album as to which ones you need to take a listen to. So I did not like 5 songs, but I liked 8. So that shows 8 out of 13. That lets you know what's going on. So the 8 songs I enjoyed were Twist My Fingers, and you'll probably enjoy these too. Word is Bond. Who Shot Me, FDT, which is Fuck Donald Trump, I Got a Question, Why You Always Hating, Bool Bomb and Selective, Still Brazy. I don't know if I said this. I don't know if I said Who Shot Me, but that's another one. So those are the 8 ones. This album will, because I liked 8 out of 13, I'm trying to figure out how to score that. It's going to get a 7.5. I think that that's pretty well put together. You know, if it had just been 1 or 2 more songs, it'd probably get like a 9 or something. So this should show you how exceptional this is. I mean, it should not come as a mystery that these songs are bad. I think, the experience, the song crafting is there, and when you allow yourself to have a good time, it's easy to do so. So that would be 7. The social score, I'm going to say, I'll give it a 7 social, just because, this kind of feels like a step in between, mainstream rap and hardcore rap. It's kind of like in between. I think YG kind of blurs the line between that, and so that almost may have something to do with like an issue as far as hearing them. So if you can deal with that and you find them, I think you've got some hits. Plus it's California, so if you're just looking for some heat, some West Coast vibes, this is a good rendition of that. Alright, so the future, this just came out, and I think, can it be topped? Just barely, but I'm not complaining. So I give this album a 7.5 out of 10 and a 7 social. Subscribe for more fun.
What's up, YouTube? JackalGoldKick here. You just saw Acid Rootz. We're doing a review of the Still Brazy album by rapper YG. You just saw what he thought of it. Now you're gonna see what I think of it. So, to be honest with you, I had no high expectations when I was gonna listen to this album. I wasn't expecting anything great. I wasn't expecting anything spectacular, because YG is a rapper that I've kind of just brushed aside, After his song My Nigga, I was like, he'll be one of those typical, mainstream rappers like a Lil Wayne or something. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I was pretty impressed with this album. This is definitely a really good mainstream rap album. I was shocked I liked it, because, nowadays mainstream rap, I'm not really a big fan of it, because a lot of people use auto-tune, they don't even try, talk about the same shit, there's no personality, there's no energy, there's just nothing to a lot of mainstream rap nowadays. But this album is actually pretty good. This is a really good West Coast album, and I'm gonna definitely say this. One of the best mainstream rap albums I've heard in years, one of the best West Coast albums of the new generation, I think. Really good album. It's got that West Coast feel that I like. When I finished listening to this album, I ended up liking. I liked 11 songs, but I didn't like 2 tracks. So, this album, it does have like a few skits and an intro, but they're really kind of just kind of a story or something. So we're not really going to focus on those, because I don't really care for skits or anything like that in albums. I mean, they're cool, but that's not really the meat of the album, unless it's like a really story album. So this album has a lot of good production. Some of my favorite songs of this album is Word is Bond, Fuck Donald Trump, Police Get Away with Murder, She Wish She Was, Still Brazy. There's a lot of great songs on this album. I pretty much like the whole album, but I will admit there is other songs I do enjoy more than others. Like, I enjoy Word is Bond more than Gimme Got Shot, but I do like Gimme Got Shot. I also like how he can switch up the topics in this song. Like, for one song, in Gimme Got Shot, he talks about people who ask him for money and all this stuff. And then he could switch to a song like FTD, which is called Fuck Donald Trump, where he expresses his hatred and why he doesn't like Donald Trump. And I really like that, and I do agree with that song, Fuck Donald Trump. Because if you actually look up some of the shit he did or he said, then you'll see that he's not really fit for president. So I did like that song. I like that a mainstream rapper actually express what he thought of something, how he felt about something, because I feel like a lot of mainstream rappers do not do that. The features on here were pretty good for the most part. The 2 songs I didn't like were I Got a Question and Why You Always Hatin'. I didn't like I Got a Question. It was an okay song, but the song got ruined for me because of Lil Wayne, and I cannot stand Lil Wayne. I can't even stand him on this song. I mean, if he just delivered a decent verse, I could get past it. But he sucked on it. His voice sounded like I think he was auto-tuned on that track, and he really sucked. You know, he half-assed the shit out of that verse, and it was trash. So he ruined that song. Then the next song after that, Why You Always Hatin', don't like that song. It's the weakest song on this album. Pretty generic, and you got whack-ass Drake on it. And you know I can't stand Drake. That dude's corny, and it doesn't even matter. So didn't like those two songs, but other than that, I did like 11 songs off this album. And overall, this is a pretty good West Coast album. It was put together good. The production on here doesn't get too boring or too generic. Hit Boy delivers a good beat on Police Get Away with Murder, where YG basically talks about how police get away with murder, all that stuff. Really like that song. I like Word Is Bond as well. It's a pretty dope West Coast song. I think this album should have had some West Coast rappers on it. Like I think either Snoop Dogg, The Game, or some people like that. They should have been on this album, I feel. That would have made the album even more legendary. But it's still a good album. I just feel like it should have had some, at least one or two old school West Coast rappers. That would have been cool. But other than that, like I said, the features he has in this album do a pretty good job. All the features are good except for Drake and Lil Wayne and the Ray Sherman guy on the hook on Why You Always Hatin'. So overall, I'm going to give this YG album, Still Brazy, I'm going to give it a 10. I was impressed with it. You know, it's one of the best mainstream rap albums of this year, definitely. One of the best West Coast rap albums of the new generation. It's got some pretty good rapping, some solid production. The topics don't get too repetitive or boring. You're not, you know, when you listen to this album, you're not gonna get the typical singing or you ain't gonna get generic trap beats. You ain't gonna get auto-tune, or you ain't gonna get any of that nonsense. You're just gonna get some good, proper West Coast rap, and a guy who actually can spit some bars and actually, you know, put some effort and not use auto-tune. So I gotta give YG credit for not using auto-tune, and he didn't really half-ass in this album. So props to him for that. So overall, this album gets a 10. It's a proper West Coast rap album. It's got great songs. Some of my favorite songs are Word Is Bond, Police Get Away with Murder, what's the other one? Fuck Donald Trump, Don't Come to LA. Overall, this album is solid. If you gave it a listen, let me know what you think. And I kind of wanted to kind of review a mainstream rap album simply because, you know, I always talk shit about mainstream rap and how much I hate it because there's a lot of nonsense in mainstream. But I guess there still is some good rap in mainstream. You just gotta find it. So YG is definitely a good mainstream rapper. So I give this album a 10. Let me know what you think of it. Proper West Coast shit right here.